Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful, y'all. I am here in the building. Heute ist Mittwoch. Today is Wednesday, y'all. I got my hair tied up. I'm trying to lay the edges down a little bit. I'm going to work on my wrist exercises. So I have my paraffin wax here. And so today's title is Cardi B and Young Thug. Let's get into it. So everybody may have heard that Cardi B won the assault charges in court yesterday. She was found not guilty, and I feel like rightfully so. Based on the testimony that I did hear, it sounds like that security guard was definitely in the wrong by following Cardi B. And that's where people as a whole need to like get control of yourselves whenever you're in the presence of someone that is used to being in media. Why are you so erratic over another person? That's kind of crazy. Y'all, I remember when I was 15 working at the amusement park and I met Teddy Riley. He came through the line, and I told the story before in the channel. I remember all the people started lining up at the line, and even the managers, and I'm like, why are they all lined up? But Teddy Riley came through the line with his wife and his children, and they were like, oh, that's Teddy Riley. But I asked him, I said, are you Teddy Riley? He was like, no. I said, what's your name? He said Teddy, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Even though I was looking right at him, he looked just like him, y'all. But it wasn't like, oh my goodness, this person is up here and I'm down here and I have to worship them. Like, why are you following Cardi B? And really, her name is something else. I can't think of her real name. Why are you following her around at a hospital, in a doctor's office? That seems pretty desperate. Okay, just stop. And you're supposed to be a grown woman at that, following someone around with a cell phone. At what point do people just get over, the nonsense, y'all, of it all? And then let's talk about what Cardi B did when she left out of the courtroom, I think they said she threw a highlighter at one of the reporters because he asked about the paternity of her pregnancy. It's obvious that she seems pregnant, y'all. I mean, even in court, she looks tired. It looks like she definitely is pregnant. And if she is, so what? She's not the only one, and she's not the first one to be pregnant. It's not the first time she's ever been pregnant. And I just think that people focus so much on people outside of themselves, and that is really what's wrong with this nation as a whole. Like, Cardi B could be pregnant by that guy she was with, or Offset. I don't know which one. But like, what difference does it make? At the end of the day, what difference does it really make? How is that going to impact anybody's lives? You know what I'm saying? And then people want to talk about how stupid she is for getting pregnant. And my thing is, you got people out here every single day having children with multiple different people. And is anybody tracking them down, posting on Instagram or YouTube about it? No, they're not. But the only difference is because it's a rapper and because she's seen in the public eye. She's not doing anything different than most people do out here in the regular world. And then as far as Offset, basically trying to say that it's not his. So that only could lead us to speculate who it could belong to. But really, why does it matter what's going on inside of Cardi B's body? Once she wants the world to know, she'll tell people what's going on. I mean, eventually people are going to find out. But yeah, definitely through those suits that she was wearing, especially in that white suit that she wore the other day, which I think she looked rather nice, considering the fact, that she's going through all of that. But my thing is, people speculate, and they're all up in people's business, like private affairs, as if they don't have a life of their own. And it just seems like, I don't know, desperation, when really people need to be focused on their own lives. Like, what's going on in your regular life, in your ordinary world, that you're so fixated on what's going on in the womb of someone else? Like, some nonsense. People are so like fixated on everything that's outside of them because they don't want to focus on their own world and their own lives. And it's so sad that, especially here in America, that they are fixated on stuff like that. It is quite sad. Let's get into Young Thug, y'all, because they're saying Young Thug snitched and he told, and I feel like this. Is this really shocking? Is this surprising? Anytime Young Thug dressed up as a female, wearing makeup, wearing nail polish, looking suspect, and then all y'all are worried about is did he snitch on Gunna? Vivian Jones, hola to you. Buenos, no, what I want to say. Como está, Vivian Jones? Um, I just think people got their priorities all wrong. Who cares if a rapper told on another rapper? All of them were probably doing something in the wrong. And all of them probably were guilty of something. And people are sitting up here on their podcast worrying about if a suspect rapper snitched on another rapper. Do you know the lengths and the magnitude and the extremes of what these people have to do in the industry, y'all? Does anybody understand what Young Thug has had to do in order to secure a spot in the industry? Why isn't anybody talking about that? No, they look over that. That's not a problem that he's wearing a dress and makeup and nail polish and hanging around guys acting suspect. That's not the real topic of discussion. The real topic of discussion, Arena, how are you? The real topic of discussion is about Young Thug snitching on Gunna and playing back the tapes. Y'all, people think they are like real news reporters out here. If y'all are real news reporters, why don't people report about things that really impact us as a whole, as a people? Because I don't understand how that Young Gunna situation or that Young Thug situation is going to impact your daily life. How is that going to improve your life, improve your health, improve your family, improve your financial situation? The only way it's improving anything is if a person is a YouTuber that's monetized talking about these affairs. And that is the problem today. Too much people are fixated on these entertainers, y'all. People are fixated on the wrong stuff out here in life. If he snitched, he snitched. He is not the first and he's not the last. I remember when Tekashi 6ix9ine snitched on Mel Matrix, snitched on Shoddy, and he's back out there. And then everybody was like, oh, he's a rat, he's a rat, he's a rat. But those people threatened his life, right? So that is a dangerous world to be in, and people are trying to live by a street code that doesn't even exist. It is the dumbest, most stupidest thing, what's good, little C, that I've ever heard of in my life. Living by a street code that doesn't exist. Because if the street code really existed, then people would actually live by it, and they don't. Then Young Thug goes on to Twitter, which he deleted his tweet. Y'all can go back and check this because it's out there floating around, saying that Birdman, you know what, the basically he's saying that the rappers, all of them are taking, you know what, they're being intimate with other men, and he said they doing it to each other. And then he deleted his tweet because people kept talking about him snitching, y'all. So I guess he got offended, so he wanted to tell everybody's business. Y'all, people that are sitting on these secrets and then only release the secrets when they're impacted, that's fake and phony right there. So I don't know why people are so surprised that he would do such a thing. I don't know why people are so surprised that he went in there and said what he said. Instead of being really concerned about really what impacts your daily lives, people are not doing that. And these type of antics need to stop. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, what would have happened? I'm going back to Cardi B. What would have happened had one of us stepped out of the courtroom in the courthouse? And what if we had thrown something at a news reporter? I feel like the police would have taken us in handcuffs. They would have told us, oh, that's attempted assault. That's assault. You threw something at someone. But because it was Cardi B, she didn't even get reprimanded. And she did this in front of the news media and in front of cameras, in front of everybody in broad daylight. But no one says anything about that. She's not reprimanded for that. It's very interesting, right? How these people are privileged to break the law in front of a crowd of people and they're not held accountable. That's what we need to be focused on, the injustices in this world. When we really want to talk about it, there are people that haven't even done anything to people and they're locked up for no reason because they got the wrong person and they don't care. Do you know how many men out there have been locked up, especially melanated men, are locked up for something they didn't even do and have lost 15, 20, 30 years of their life after they find out it wasn't them? You can never ever pay them enough money to get that time back because there is no guarantee on the lifespan of a person in this world. Even if they got $30 million, you cannot buy back time with $30 million. You know what I mean? You can get money, but you can't get time. And that's the thing too. Like here in America, people put so much emphasis on money, but they don't put emphasis on life, on health, on enjoying yourself, on just your time. You know, here a person basically is disposed of. You get more time behind bars. If you rob a bank and steal money, then you would get if you take a person's life off this planet, which I think is quite ridiculous, y'all. It is insanity to me because, like I said, we live in a corporate world. We live in a corporate plantation called America. They don't care anything about your life whatsoever. They think they worship money here. So for everybody that comes here and says, "Oh, I come to America to have a better life," that's only for the immigrants, all right? That's not for the people that are citizens here because the citizens here are going through it, y'all. They are going through it. Yeah, I am still doing my wrist exercises. I hope y'all are all having a wonderful day today. I think it's going to be in the 80s today, so I might come on here a little bit later, post some more videos. Make sure y'all check out some of my uploads. I want to thank all the people that have tuned in, that have subscribed, that have liked the videos, and the people that have been, engaging. I appreciate you all wholeheartedly. And, we're reaching into fall time coming. And, it just seems like a big repetitive cyclical event year after year. And I don't know, Labor Day is gone. And then I think the next thing they're going to be focused on is Halloween, of course, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then New Year's. Bam, and they do it all again. Yeah, do y'all ever get kind of tired of it? Like, do you ever say, let's do something different this year? Why don't we have different practices this year? Why don't we have different food this year, different holidays, like different celebrations instead of the same ones they keep shoving down our throat every single year? And then there's Black History Month, and we have to learn about Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. When we know even the history of them, we have been lied to about Rosa Parks. We haven't been told the full truth about Martin Luther King. And if you say these things, people get mad. They get an attitude because, people here are hypersensitive. They can't handle the truth. They don't like for you to tell them the truth. They want a beautiful lie. So people are backwards, y'all. People are backwards. And how do we know people are backwards? Because you got these caricatures called rappers, pretending like they're living a street code and talking about snitching when they're not even living their life for themselves. They out there snitching, telling you not to snitch in their music and lyrics. But they can do it, but you can't. You see the hypocrisy in that is very ironic, y'all. And then you have Cardi B throwing highlighters at a news reporter, and she's not being held accountable for that. But you let another person go out there and do it, and they didn't have that entitled celebrity status that they give these people. Trust me, they would be facing some sort of reprimand. They will be reprimanded. I want to say that. It's just all of it is backwards. All of it is some nonsense. And then they're saying that Donald Trump is having health issues and might be on his way out of here soon. If that is the case, then I feel like this is all pre-orchestrated. I feel like this is for them to bring in the NWO, the New World Order. And I think that this is what they have been trying to do in the first place. All of the presidents that we've ever had have not been put into position by us. Let's make that very clear. When they say your vote counts, you can't say anything if you didn't vote. If you don't vote, your voice doesn't matter. That is not true. Your voice does matter, but they try to silence your voice. It's called censorship. This is why on all these platforms, if you talk about the wrong thing and you start telling the truth, they suppress your videos. They make sure you don't get followers, you don't get subscribers, you don't get views, you don't get likes. They don't push your video. That's what happens. Even on Instagram, y'all. Facebook, I've heard people have been shut out of Facebook, even TikTok. Like, you got to be real careful out here. And you have to be careful who you share your opinions with, because people are very hypersensitive about the truth when it comes to matters of religion, when it comes to matters of politics. And then even family members and friends and colleagues have fallen out over public figures and politicians that they've never met, will never meet, will never know. And I remember, like, when the whole election thing was going on, people would get mad, would get attitudes because somebody did not affiliate with their political campaign. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. What difference does it make if you were friends before, but now you're not friends after because they identify with a certain politician? It's not like these people are having dinner with these people every day, hanging out with them every day. They never met these people. But y'all are ruining relationships behind people that will never say hi to you. You'll probably never meet. I think it is just the most backwards thing ever. Same thing with religion. It's very divisive. If you don't believe in whatever, the Christians believe, the Jews believe, then you have, what is it, Islam, Muslim, all these different religious practices are divisive. They tell you that their way is the only way. Whoever they believe in is the only way that you can go, and they're right. I mean, like, everybody has like a superiority complex when you really think about it, y'all. It's a superiority complex. Yeah, I'm stretching out my wrist, getting my healing going, making sure I get my flexibility here. So this is a daily routine. I want to tell y'all, if ever your doctor tells you you need surgery to heal, our bodies naturally heal themselves. Or we have to aid and abet our body to do such by getting proper rest, proper sleep, eating the proper things, proper nutrients, and do research. Don't be scared to research behind the doctors, the quote unquote doctors that they stuff down our throats. Everything that they do here in America, they shove it down our throats. Well, if you don't do it this way, it's wrong. If you don't get the surgery, it's wrong. You need the surgery because if you don't get the surgery, you won't heal. That is not always true. In some instances, it's necessary. In some, it's not. So do your research for your own body, y'all, because you're the ones that have to live with yourself. You're the ones that have to deal with your own health, y'all. I don't know. They said when your hand itches, you're getting money, and I'm itching right here. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing, y'all. But y'all, I'm going to go ahead and probably sign out of here. It is already past my time to get going. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that has shared positivity on this channel. I'm doing this because I'm trying to see the flexibility of my wrist. So you see, it looks to be still, I don't know, is it like swollen? It looks swollen and it hangs a little bit lower. So this is due to the wrist injury, y'all. So shout out to me, y'all, because my fingers are actually straightening out. My fingers used to be kind of bent. The pinky is still kind of bent, so I work on that too. And what it is the muscles have stiffened up. It doesn't take long, y'all, for your muscles to stiffen and tighten up. Oh, thank you, Tulo. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So your muscles stiffen up when you have an injury, and because this, was set into place for, I want to say 6 weeks, I am still dealing with the remnants of that. So we have to make sure we stretch these out as much as possible, apply as much pressure. Don't take it easy on yourselves, like especially if you're doing this for yourself, because, my therapist, she would definitely push me to the limit. And I would be in pain, but I tolerated pain pretty well. And sometimes you got to go through pain to get to where you need to be. And you know what? As I'm saying this, I guess life is like that sometimes. Life is very challenging. It's not easy. And we have to go through a lot of painful, challenging experiences. Y'all have been through so much that I really wish I had never been through. But it taught me a lot about people and how evil they are. Evil creatures, y'all. And it taught me to really just be careful with people. So, but anyway, back to the body. Just pushing yourself and be, Be very optimistic, and you have to be authoritative over your body. Tell yourself you can do this. Whatever you're facing, if you're facing like an injury and stuff like that, keep on pushing yourself. And I also need to work on strengthening this hand, strengthening the wrists, strengthening the fingers, because there are a lot of activities and motions that we do with our body parts that we're not aware of. So even like going this way, like these muscles going outward, strengthening those, strengthening the muscles going inward to make a fist. I couldn't do this a few months ago. I couldn't even do this. Y'all, I was stuck like this. I remember there was a time where I couldn't even turn this way or that way. Couldn't do this at all. That was painful. Y'all remember when they asked to take my x-ray? I had to take my whole body and go like this on the machine. I didn't want anybody touching it. Don't touch me. It was very, very painful, y'all. So I don't know why this had to happen to me, because I've never really had anything like this going on. But it happened. And then when I heard that people, even like children, have gone through this, toddlers and stuff, and I'm looking at them like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And they just running around perfectly fine. Actually, the younger you are, if you get an injury, the better off, because you heal faster. It is very true. We can't There's nothing we can do about, our timing and how long we've been here when we were born. All we can do is try to maintain ourselves the best way we can. And doing that by what we eat, what we expose ourselves to, stay away from stress. Dilo, I will hold your hands. Oh, that is so sweet of you. Stress, stay away from stress, and just, have positive people around, and stay away from the negativity, y'all. Even what you read, what you watch, what you listen to. I do listen to smooth jazz instrumentals, because actually vibrations and sound help to heal our bodies. Frequencies help to heal our bodies as well. And I talked about this before. That's what I used to do when I was, trying to heal this. I would put the um, splash proof speaker in the bathroom, and allow the vibrations to flow into the water as I took my bath. And I would speak healing over myself, y'all, because I knew that I was going to heal. I just automatically knew. Like, there was nothing that they could tell me when I went there the very next day after this happened that made me believe that I needed surgery. And so when I set that precedence, it was over and done with. I was already healed, and I'm still healing. I'm still walking in my healing. Y'all, I'm able to snap my finger. I couldn't do this before. I am just starting to be able to snap my fingers, y'all. That might not be major to you, but it's major to me. I was talking about this yesterday. So y'all, it's the little intricate details that matter. It's baby steps into a world of healing. It's baby steps into a world of changing your life. So that's why I come on this channel every day, because I know every live stream is a baby step into growing the channel. It's a baby step into doing something different, right, for what I'm trying to pursue for the future. So I've had a very challenging week. I think I talked about it. Y'all will see some of my videos dropping on YouTube. Make sure you check out my uploads, because I talk about it on there. Just dealing with people in general. They're wish-washy. They can't be trusted. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on the Cardi B thing, the Young Thug thing, because we really need to like get over this degeneracy that goes on, and they try to push it into our culture for some reason. Like, they try to make it normalized for us, but it's not normalized for everybody else, because it's destructive. That's why. So the snitching and the throwing a pen at a reporter, which I feel like is complete nonsense. But then again, if she is pregnant, her hormones could be on a different level, because those hormones are different from regular hormones, y'all. I know this. So you'll be surprised. So she did that, and she was not reprimanded for it. But I feel like maybe because she is pregnant, maybe that's why they didn't do anything about it. But I also feel like it has something to do with her quote unquote status. Because if it was anybody else, she would have been reprimanded. And then the whole thing about Young Thug snitching, y'all. Like, what more do you expect out of a dude that dresses up in makeup and looks like a woman, and partakes in these ritualistic practices behind the scenes? I don't even know why people follow these people or take them seriously, honestly, because real men stand up and be real men. They don't have to do all these things to get into the industry. If you have a gift, if you have a talent, if you have something that you are wonderful at doing, you don't have to sacrifice your beliefs and compromise yourself just to get these trinkets that the devil throws at you, because that's pretty much what it is. If you have to sacrifice what you believe in, what you stand up for, stand in your power, y'all. Brown Girls Are Beautiful is about walking in your divinity over here. Remember, I talk about celebrating yourself, stay true to you, and stay empowered, y'all. Stay encouraged. All right, I am going to sign out. It is 10:45. I got to leave out of here, and I'll be back on later. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all stay blessed. I'll tune in with y'all later, okay?